Hello there, this is Denzin, and today I'm looking at this, the forgotten Frostgrave game, Frostgrave Ghost Archipelago. Now this game has been out a few years now, and it is part of the Frostgrave series, Frostgrave itself being the most popular of the series. There's also Stargrave, I guess Silver Bayonet can be lumped in with this, but Ghost Archipelago is a weird one because it seems to not have attracted as much attention. It doesn't get played as much. It hasn't had as many expansions, and I feel like it's just been lost a little bit, which is I think is a shame. For me, it's my favourite. I think I prefer the setting, which is a sort of jungle setting, tropical setting on islands, very Sinbad, very treasure-seeking. So a little bit different to traditional Frostgrave in a frozen city, which is kind of got those Mordheim vibes. This, some people call jungle grave, is set in a more tropical climate, and it suits me a little bit more. I prefer it, to be honest with you. But it's very similar to the other graves in the way that it runs. You've got a warband of a few models each. In this, they're crews led by a Heritor, and a Heritor is a sort of a human whose ancestors have been to this Lost Isles, the Ghost Archipelago, in the past, and drank from some mystical sort of stream or fountain, and have been imbued with superhuman abilities, which you get in the game, which allows you to play various different abilities to give you supernatural little boosts during the game. And amongst your crew, you can have wardens, and wardens are basically wizards, and there are different types. Some follow are beast wardens, so they can affect animals. Others affect the elements, and so on. So, in traditional Frostgrave, you have a wizard and an apprentice, but here the wizard is taking the back seat slightly to this sort of superhuman Heritor, who has returned to the Ghost Archipelago to seek that lost fountain. And renew their abilities, which have been diluted over the generations. So with them, they've taken a crew of hardened individuals, and they're going to cut their way through the jungle and find lost cities, strange temples, strange tribes, weird creatures, dinosaurs, the whole shebang. And off you go with your crew. I do like that with the crews in this game is you can basically come up with whatever you want as a crew, because you come from other parts of the world. You could go down a sort of Oriental feel or a Conquistador feel, Viking feel, go through whatever you want. And you can have a weird mix of crews from different parts of the lands. What I've got on my table here is just a whole bunch of minis from the range that North Star released. So there's quite a few here. I've got a lot more stashed away. But we've got some tribals here. We've got various crew members, a few monsters scattered about. I mean, it's a good excuse to get your dinosaurs out. There we go, a few dinosaurs. And a lot of homemade scenery, such as my Lost Colossus head lying there from a mannequin that I hacked up. My dinosaur eggs. In fact, all of the terrain here is handmade, actually. Everything I've done is out of bits of polystyrene that have been cut up. A few shop-bought trees. But other than that, all the terrain has been carved out of foam. Including the big walls at the back there. There we go. But I don't know why this game isn't as popular. It's had 3 expansions, which you can see here. Cities of Bronze, Gods of Fire, The Lost Colossus, which sort of charts adventurers going through the jungles, going to islands, getting up to mischief, fighting each other, and each book also added a new warband you could do, such as the Tribals as a warband, Lost Civilizations, Snake Men warbands, which you can also do, and various monsters and creatures that you can add to your games, such as the dinosaurs and giant crabs and snapping turtles and so on and so forth. But they kind of dried up with the releases for this game. They stopped doing the add-ons, the books, but they also stopped doing the miniatures. So for the last book, Cities of Bronze, I thought they were going to release maybe lots of miniatures for the kingdoms that they have, that you come across. For example, we have this image here, and I thought, is this box art for a new plastic kit, such as the crewman kit, the snake man kit? Because we have archers here, we've got guys with spears, hand weapons, and I thought, oh, but no, they never released it. In fact, for this last book, they didn't release any of the monsters from this last book. They did for the others, and it came to a close. And I think that's rather unsatisfactory from my point of view, because I feel like the adventures deserved a conclusion. Why not do one last book, just explaining the final find for that Fountain of Youth type conclusion to the game, where you actually do find it and what happens at the end before the Ghost Archipelago disappears back into the mists. But that never happened. So it's quite difficult to find miniatures to fit some of the random encounters in the game. So in a lot of the Grave games, you roll on random encounters and see what creatures turn up. And usually the usual staples, skeletons, zombies and so on, ghosts and so on. But Ghost Archipelago has a lot of weird creatures that pop up. For example, you have these sort of elephant men. I can't remember what they're called now, but elephant men. And I thought, well, where the hell am I going to find elephant men? Luckily for me, I have a 3D printer, so I managed to find, I just Googled it, elephant men, and managed to find something on My Mini Factory that fit the bill. So there it is. So every now and again, I sort of randomly go on My Mini Factory and just type in various creatures and see what comes up. Like, I need a monkey that's screaming, so where do I get a screaming monkey from? So luckily, My Mini Factory helps out with that sort of thing. You can get yourself some creatures that fit the bill quite well. But it is a shame that it's lost its traction, this game. I think it's worth a look. I think it's worth playing. I've played Stargrave, I've played Frostgrave, but this one just tickles my fancy. If you like pirates, if you like lost civilizations and strange creatures in the jungles, then this will scratch your Sinbad itch, if you like. So will it get any traction in future? Will there be another book? Will there be a second edition? I doubt it. I don't think there's going to be anything else for this game at all, which is a loss, I think. I don't know why it wasn't very popular. Why is everyone picking up Frostgrave and Stargrave and not this one? Do people just prefer the Mordheim itch of the cityscape for Frostgrave and the sci-fi skirmish of Stargrave, or the alternative history of the gothic horror of Silver Bayonet, and not this one? Am I in the minority here? Maybe I am. I must be, if no one's playing the game. But I'm going to continue. I'm going to continue with my collection. Every now and again, I'm going to randomly print off a creature that fits the bill, and continue playing. So I just thought I'd get the gear on the table just to show it off. What you can do when a game isn't being supported, you can still play it. Doesn't mean a game is dead. It's still yours. You can play it. Nothing's stopping you enjoying something, no matter how old it is or how out of print it may be. But yeah, there we go. There's Ghost Archipelago, the Frostgrave game that has become a ghost in itself. So I'll see you again.